Hello again and welcome back to another one. And today we have more topics to cover as usual, including one that's bound to hurt a couple of feelings on platforms like Twitter based on the narrative about Eminem, and we also have BuzzFeed giving music fans a lecture on songs to take out of their playlist because it's assumed that we can't tell the difference between art and reality. And the list included one Eminem song which is kind of a bummer since Eminem's got an entire album that could have made the list, but it is what it is. And before we get started, if content like this is up your street, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and find me on social media at etlifestyle_web. So we'll start with Pharoahe Monch's recent comments in reaction to what he thought about Eminem giving him a shout out on Rap God, where Eminem stated,
"There was a time where once I was king of the underground, but I still rap like I'm on my Pharoahe Monch grind, so I crunch rhyme."
And in an interview with Uproxx, he was asked about how he felt about getting a mention from a rapper thought to be one of the best to ever do it, and he responded, and I quote, "It's amazing. I mean, for me, anytime Eminem drops a project, it pushes the envelope for all MCs because the conversation goes back around lyricism again. And that's always good for me, even without the mention." He also stressed this point again, adding, "Every time he puts out a project, he does so much in terms of keeping the conversation around lyricism because it's still marginalized in my opinion. And so, for him to shout me out, it was extra dope because people check and they go and do their references and they see why. And I get to stay in that conversation. Not about top necessarily, but lyricism, and that's where I always want to be, so it was dope." And according to Monch, he was in Detroit and Denom gave him the heads up of the Eminem mention and told him, "Shh, don't say anything," before it dropped. That was hilarious. And it looks like the grey beard is now officially the staple in hip-hop right now for elite rappers, from Black Thought, King Crook to Pharoahe Monch. And speaking about Crook, the same thing said in this interview was said by Crook months ago when Eminem dropped Music to be Murdered by Side B after an excited fan dropped this. "At Crook, I'm starting today's rap discussion. That Music to be Murdered by Side B, my god, fire emojis, instant classic. I've been listening all day. The lyricism is phenomenal, the way the dude goes in and just breaks down everything is such an art form, 100%. What do you think?" And this was Crook, pretty much the same thing as Monch. "I'm just glad M gets people excited about lyricism, since in the mainstream today, lyricism has taken a backseat to vibes, melodies, and flows. But remember, word on the social media streets is that Eminem's lyrics are corny. Save your thoughts for later." And moving on to the next point, BuzzFeed decided to publish this recently. 17 problematic songs that never should have been recorded in the first place. And check out what comes next. You're gonna wanna update your classic rock playlist after reading this post, and for starters, on the bright side, it's a great thing that Eminem's music doesn't fall under that genre, and the list includes songs like Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke that has this caption to go with it. "I hate Blurred Lines so much, this gross song about non-consensual intimacy is still being played and it makes my blood boil." So translation, due to my interpretation of the song, it shouldn't be played on the radio anymore, it should be cancelled, and rather than change the station or skip the song when it comes on, I would rather push for censorship. But this is expected since from the article it states the origins of the list. We asked the BuzzFeed community to tell which popular songs are actually really problematic. Here are the eye-opening results. The list also includes songs like If I Want To by Usher and of course Kim by Eminem. And on the thumbnail on Twitter, they explain the premise of Eminem's Kim. For those who don't know, Kim is Eminem screaming about ending his wife. And now that you know, you're gonna have to update that playlist, I guess. And in the article, here's the caption that goes under. It's supposed to be told from Slim Shady's perspective, but still, like, you don't write a song about beating your wife. And the second one goes, it's literally him screaming about ending his wife. And users on Twitter have reacted accordingly to this from BuzzFeed. One states, "Boo, y'all cry way too much. The music made my ears sad. Crying face emoji. Don't like it, don't listen. And also cancel yourself for being way too sensitive about of all things music, which is about artist expression. Isn't it lovely when a person who's probably never written an essay, let alone a song, tells an acclaimed artist what and what not to write about?" And the user expands on this. "Isn't art a way for people to express themselves about anything? Are we gonna stop watching movies about tough topics? Just because we don't like these things doesn't mean these aren't actual problems happening in society daily. Ignore the music and you're ignoring the problem." Notice how book/film writers and directors get a pass, but Eminem makes horrorcore music and he needs to be stopped. And the excerpt urging people to update their playlist is doing the opposite. Man, F what y'all talking about. I see 3 songs on that list that I will continue listening to. Ain't nobody dictating my music list. I listen to whatever the F I want to. And since many of the songs that made the list were also judged using modern day standards, while conveniently ignoring how society was back then, the user expanded the joke. And another thing, did you know that Coke wasn't Coca-Cola? Why is that even made? And birds used to be dinosaurs and they used to kill each other? Why do we even have birds? Disgusting. But over to you guys, where do you stand to update or not to update that playlist? Comment below and see you on the next one.